Everyone, and good evening. Welcome to the post Euros show. Now, we start. Obviously, no one's in right now. For some reason, Twitter has gone really weird, so I don't know why it's not letting me stream, but we'll sort that out in a bit. I'll work our way around that, but we'll just get on with the show to begin with. Welcome everyone again to the show. Big up, Jack, and how are you? How you guys doing?
Not bad. Yourself, mate? How are you boys doing?
Decent.
Quite good. Just came off holiday.
That's better. It's better than seeing absolutely nothing. So yeah, you should have something to enjoy. But before we get on to England and everything about that and that absolute disastrous shit show, let's actually talk about a goods team, Spain, who actually played good football throughout the entire tournament. That had a whole team of players that want to win, had the passion to play for their country. Any complaints about bloody people on their back? They actually went for it every game, even when they weren't playing well. They found a way. Yeah, you bet it's an absolute show of a team, night and day. But I'll let you guys sort of talk about this further. I mean, we'll just discuss how good they did this tournament. Go on. I'll let whatever about
them. I think Spain as a team. I think you get these players, especially for me. I like to bring Rodri as an example because he's a testament to the way that country plays football, the entire nation, the way they approach tournaments. He doesn't come out and do stupid interviews. He doesn't come out and talk about the fans. He just gets his head down. He concentrates on the football and he leads by example. He's just a very professional individual, and that's why the rest of the team have got the same mindset, and that's why they go on to win the tournament, because they don't care about the media, they don't care about PR, they care about winning the trophy, and that's what it's about at the end of the day. And I think other teams need to start taking note.
Yeah, you see, for me, I give Jack on that point. He's right. Like, you look at Yamal, and you look at our youngsters, Jude Bellingham, because he's on that high ceiling that Yamal's at. Jude Bellingham, yeah, he's acting all arrogant because he's got the media behind him, he's got the attention. Yamal, he just focuses on his football, does the talking on the pitch, what matters, and obviously scores some important goals for Spain that has obviously led them to winning the Euros. That's what Spanish players do, like Jack said. They don't get gobby in the press conferences, they do the talking on the pitch, and ultimately it's shown the outcome by winning this Euros.
Yep, and that's been the story of it, man. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When you see players like Lamine Yamal at 17 years old, 16 years old, doing what he's doing for that Spain team, bro, and you just finished his exams as well while doing Euros. It just shows you how good and how focused their players were this tournament. And I just think the way that, like, obviously lots of Rodri have performed, Laporte and Normand, but Danny Olmo, for example, brilliant. One of the best players in the tournament by far. I mean, obviously people are our fan base about getting him. I'm like, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a player we need right now, but I wouldn't mind him at City, but that's a whole different point itself. But it just shows you, like, the hunger they had for each other. They wanted to fight, they wanted to play, they wanted to win the Euros. And as we go on to later on with England, it's night and day. Tactically night and day. Just everything, fan base, media, night and day between us, which is why they won. And we got a lot to learn as a country and our fan base if it can win anything. It's that simple, really. When you got, obviously, De La Fuente, who's, bear in mind, the Spanish version of Southgate, who did the exact same thing he did. So coaching, he did obviously done 21s, obviously, and below. Yet he's coached these players up. And he's gotten to a point where they're actually playing the same football because they've obviously learned from him. But he's done it a different way. It's Pep football, but a little bit more aggressive and international, but it works. Tottenham wins. And that is what we should have been doing with our squad. But unfortunately, as we go to later on, we've got a manager that doesn't know his best team.
You see, we spoke about this, didn't we, Luke, on the last stream? Like when I said to you, the Spanish FA, after the 2012 Euros that they won, they went on a rocky dip. but then they've rebuilt the youth system and academies. And obviously, this manager, I don't know his name, but I've read into his background and his coach, like the under-17s, under-19s, the 23 Olympics, and obviously now he's in charge of the men's team. He's basically took that under-17s team. Yeah, it might not be like the team as it was. He was managing under-17s, but he's been part of the foundation where they've said, right, we need to reset from top to bottom. And that's what the Spanish FA have done. Backed this guy, promoted him at every job he's had from under-17s to the men's team. And obviously it's translated into winning a major tournament. And plus, with this manager of Spain, he's also won every tournament that he's coached in. So under-17s trophy, under-19s, but he did get the silver medal in the Olympics for the under-23s, but it's still a good record to have.
Exactly, and that's the mentality. That's the mentality of it all. And this is why I think people, if it was saying whatever, I mean, anyone with eyes in Euros could have told you that we were lucky to even be in this final. We should even be here. It should have been Slovakia knocked us out, and Gareth should be gone by now. But because of our luck and the players finding something out of their arse, we've managed to make it to a final. And I'm sorry, right, but you guys might agree with me here. The Italy run that we went on was way better because we actually played good football. Not at the start, but we got better and better and better. We had players that actually worked together as a team. You had Calvin Phillips playing probably the best football I think I've seen him play ever. You had Declan Rice playing well. It was a great team that worked really well. Yeah, we didn't have Foden in it, but he wasn't really playing well himself anyway. You had a great squad overall. And in the next, 4 years or so, he's regressed this team down to a Stoke City style football. And when you compare that to Spain, who have gone through their own change, obviously, from the dead era of David Silva, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, to the elite team that they were, won 3 tournaments in a row, they had to go for obviously a time where they weren't as good. Then they turned it around again. I've got Yamal, Williams, they've got players like Rodri, they've got Zubamendi, they've got such a great bunch of players and a great plethora of players to choose from on the bench and obviously throughout their squad that they could be dominant in the World Cup and dominant next Euros because they're that good and they're that well trained. Which is why people need to, who are obviously hoping that we turn it around. The only way that we actually turn this around is if we actually really get a new manager and a new mentality from the FA. But that won't happen because what we'll do is if he does go, we'll get someone who also yes man. I mean Eddie Howe's a yes man. He will be. As much as I like him, it's going to be. We need a different manager that's not English. Because right now it ain't working. Go on.
Anything, Jack? I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I've agreed with this, but every time I say let's get a foreign manager, they'll just point at Capello. That's a one-off. That happens. I'm looking at we've got some decent managers out there, like Jose Mourinho wasn't in. I think he's gone to Fenerbahce now, but he was on a free. We could have got him in for this tournament, and he could have got a lot more out of them players. And he knows how to win with defensive football. He's perfect for that team. I'd have brought him in before the tournament started. He would have been a perfect option. And his players play for him. His players will die for him. They won't do that for Southgate because he's a yes man.
For me,
exactly.
I'm looking at it as a case of, like you've said, 21, fair play. They played well, even though the 21 final was a bottle job. And last night this whole tournament's been a bottle job. I mean, you've got all this attacking talent locked up in a defensive structure. But the problem is, these players, they flourish for the clubs. So, like Phil Foden, how do you go from Premier League Player of the Season to being invisible in 4 weeks at the Euros? How does Jude Bellingham go from being La Liga's Player of the Season to being literally a ghost for England? How does Harry Kane, Bundesliga top scorer, end up playing alongside Declan Rice in defensive midfield? And he's nowhere to be seen in the box. He's static. All these players are down to the problem of Gareth Southgate because you don't go perform in the biggest leagues in Europe to go being shit in international tournaments. The whole setup's a joke.
I think it's a disadvantage to these England players as well. So, say if I'm an opposition manager and say if I'm playing against City, for example, Foden, if I want to find a way to nullify Foden, I'll ring up Gareth Southgate because he knows how to turn world-class players into dog shit.
He does. Yeah. Like, the thing is, everyone was calling out ages ago the best team should have been, but he kept just refusing. Like, the fact that we had no left winger the entire tournament, no Gordon got disrespected massively in this tournament. I'm not saying he's world class, but he's offers something different. He's unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen with him. He can sort of turn inside, cut inside, and find a way. And when you got a 50% even fit Luke Shaw playing left back, who bear in mind, I don't think he was even that bad, Luke Shaw. He's a decent left back for England. But when he's not even fully fit, he play a right back at left wing back. You're gonna cause issues here, and it's like he has too many favourites in that squad. He's forcing everyone into bloody squabbling around holes. Also, Foden and Bellingham still played on the wing still, even though they're both attacking midfielders. It was obvious what it was, but it's clearly, and it could have lost the game if he just played Bellingham further back, told him to stick where he was as a box player. Foden plays in the middle. Kane sits in the box, doesn't come out. Or Watkins, someone actually get in the box and be a box striker. Because the way I don't know what Kane was doing, constantly just standing around, running out of midfield. It's a nightmare. Whereas Watkins came on, brilliant. Wouldn't say he was world class, but he was brilliant. He was lucky not to actually score yesterday. There was that little touch go away from him, but we just have a playing system that just doesn't work. But Southgate refuses to listen to anyone, and this is his downfall. Is this why people are surprised we lost 2 finals in a row? It's not because the fans didn't call him out at the right time. We've been like hoping and praying and whatever, and it's just this mentality will cost us every bloody year. And we finally realise we've got to demand more from our players and the FA and everyone involved. And this is probably stems also from the clubs as well, like United, Arsenal, Tottenham. These fans that don't actually want to win, is want their players in debates. What the players, want to be in that situation. It's just, I don't know if it's rated, but that's literally where we are right now. Finnish football. It's an absolute PR nightmare. That's never going to beat La Liga, because La Liga has actually got fans that actually want to win stuff and held the clubs to account. Italy held the clubs to account. Bloody hell, the ultras hold their clubs to account. By a stretch of the imagination, Milan definitely do, and Inter definitely do as well. And then you got even France. Look, Ligue 1 is a perfect league, but France's fans did the exact same thing. I'll be angry. I'm not going through. So with Germany, yet with us, we've literally got nothing, because our fans just want to piss up and just fight in the streets afterwards. It's just night and day. We'll have anything until we as a nation finally want to win something. As in, come together, stop bickering and squabbling. Obviously, club rivalry is different. But when you're obviously for England, you just come together and say, right, we want to win something, and we demand it for a team to play good football to do it. But I'll let you guys carry on talking now. I've talked for quite a bit, but that's where I'm at right now with England. That's where I'm at.
I think you made a great point there, because I see too many of these football fans, England especially, that just have agendas against opposition players and just try and destroy them just so their own player can get in and play shit. This is why all the other countries in Europe take the piss. They laugh at us because we're a joke. You see fans fighting in the streets. That's all we're known for, because we don't know how to unite as a nation when it comes to these tournaments. It's embarrassing. And until we learn to take the competition seriously and start taking accountability and criticising the manager instead of just saying, oh, we got to 2 finals in a row, blah, blah, blah. But that's because we've done nothing for 58 years. There's people here who...
58 years of hurt.
58 years.
60 next time. 60.
60, yeah. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
30 years of hurt became 30 more years of hurt, ironically.
You see, it's weird one, because like this country is so backwards as a nation, because everyone's like, oh, Southgate's progressing this team. We're constantly in semi-finals. We're competing, getting to finals. But if you look at your club mentality, do you think Man City, Man United when there was under Fergie, Liverpool with Klopp, Wenger with Arsenal when he was in his prime, Mourinho or Chelsea, do you think all their club fans would say, "Oh, we're in finals. It's a day out at Wembley. We're competing." No, you want to go and win it. You want to go finish the job, see the job off. Not say, "Oh, we're going for a day out. We're going for a piss up." You want to compete and complete the job, like you said, Luke and Jack. France, Germany, Spain. They're big nations. They don't say, "Oh, we're in semi-finals. Oh, we're in the final. Let's just enjoy the day out." No, they go to see the job off. They go to compete and complete the job. Like I was looking at sorry, I was on Twitter this morning and I was like seeing Cave, whatever he's called, off Sky Sports, and he said, yeah, and he was like, "You should be happy that England are competing now compared to us where it was under Roy Hodgson. That's fine, all well and good. But a top class manager, your Pep Guardiolas, your Jurgen Klopps, would literally finish the job off. They'd say, right, this group of players, outstanding talent, as we've said earlier, but they'd see the job off by winning trophies. And then Cave is like, oh yeah, just be grateful. Southgate's got you into finals, got you into semi-finals, competing. And he said about whether Southgate leaves, if he does leave, he'll have top clubs and top nations after him. What top club will go near that style of player, that manager who's got Middlesbrough relegated and Hull City stayed up? What's he done in his career to show Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, to say, here you go, Southgate, here's a job for you, do what you can do. Nah, less of that. Southgate would not be touched with a blind pole, mate. He can go toss himself off a bridge because it's not going to be, he's going to get that top job. He's going to be like a Luton Town.
Yeah.
English PR for you. English PR.
Exactly. I think if any top club had him in charge, these same England fans that are saying be grateful, they wouldn't tolerate it for their clubs. They'd burn his little waistcoat. Like I say, accountability is the best ability. Yep. And none of these England fans and the FA and the media are willing to take accountability and point the finger where it's supposed to be pointed at. And that's why we'll never progress. Because the way we keep accepting failure, the players are going to think, oh, they won't be mad at us for getting to a final. So they won't have as much pressure to perform in a final. So you're just doing it to the detriment of your own team. And I keep hearing all this it's coming home gimmick has got to stop. It has got to stop. You don't see Spain doing this. I don't see San Marino doing it in their shit.
And you got people like Ellis Platten just chatting rubbish, like saying, "Oh, it's good for the morale." I'm sorry, right? If it's coming home is a bloody cop out. It's like a process. It's just these buzzwords that people just use to bloody get hold of. It's just literally this is why we don't do anything. You don't get Spain doing this, you don't get France doing this because they actually want to win something. And if you don't win it, they call you out for it. But because I don't know what his mindset's coming to this country for. Like, what other country that I thought would want to be winning stuff and after all these years of bullshit, you think, well, surely we want to go on and win it. But no, they just find buzzwords and get attracted to that, like flies, probably whatever. And it just feels like a never-ending nightmare. Where as an England fan, you're just stuck there thinking, this is never going to change until people, one, accept the fact that these players are not as good as they say they are. Two, the FA want to win, as in, you know what, whoever's best for the job comes in. It doesn't matter how much actually rattle the cage, as in the FA annoy them. You need someone in there to sort of say as it is, and you also get the right teams in there. Because honestly, right, you have Jack Grealish, Maddison, and like Rashford. I know Rashford's not been good this season, but he's still experienced for England. You don't bring them along, but you bring Adam Wharton, who didn't even play. You bought Buddy Gordon, who Anthony Gordon, who by the way is actually a good left winger. He's brilliant. Yet he was wasted, and he got one sub appearance. You got Buddy Dunk, who shouldn't be there. Like, you got Tamori not even in the squad. Like, seriously, this is the most ridiculous favoritism I've seen in my life. It's never going to change until we finally get someone with a bit of balls.
Yeah, this manager, when he selects teams, he writes the names of players down and pulls them out of a hat. It's like a game of bingo. He tries so hard to upset the players. sometimes you need to get into players' faces. You need to upset them. I seen Vinny Jr. this season at Real Madrid. He scored in the El Clasico, but he played shit, and Carlo Ancelotti dragged him off, and Vinny had a go at him, and then Carlo Ancelotti sat him in his place. He sat down. He's like, no, the team's not about you. It's a team. I'm the manager. You're not. He don't care about upsetting players. It's about winning. And it's about having the same vision, the same mentality up and down the entire team. And England don't have that.
No.
There you go, Jack. Obviously, do you remember the Jude Bellingham sub fiasco when Southgate was ready to sub Jude off, but Jude was like, nah, I'm not coming off. And then Southgate bottled it. And then as well, how many times was the full nation saying, drop Harry Kane, put Ollie Watkins as a starting striker? And he's refused to drop Harry Kane because what? He's got a nice armband on his arm, as it says, captain. He's number one. Southgate's bottled it with these calls he's made, like with the Anthony Gordon, with even Jared Bramthwaite from Everton, one of the best defenders in the Premiership.
Even Bowen as well. He didn't play very much. The players on the bench that should deserve more game. Eze as well. It's just what an absolute waste of time that they were even there for. I was just be on holiday.
But I mean, if you just look at it, right, what would you do if that was Pep Guardiola and Jude Bellingham said, "Nah, I'm not coming off"? Would Pep Guardiola say, "Okay, you're in charge"? Would he balls? He'd say,
"No, he'd drag him off by his ears."
Yeah, he'd drag him off his pitch.
He wouldn't play.
He wouldn't play.
And then Harry Kane as well. Would he start Harry Kane every single match, even if he's on crap form, or would he say, "No, you're coming off, mate. Ollie Watkins is starting next match, regardless whether you're captain or not"?
Look at Haaland. He doesn't compare every game, but Haaland has respect for Pep. He doesn't like it, but he'll say, "Fair enough. I'm not happy with it, but I'll come off." Which is why Haaland has a mentality I want him to win, but I understand it's part of the team. Bellingham hasn't got that at all, but because it's PR ridiculous, I don't get me wrong. I like Bellingham as a player. I think there's a player in there, but the problem is his ego is way too big for him right now, and it is why he should never go to Real Madrid. Should have been City first.
Yeah, if he don't sort that out, they're going to bin him off in a year.
Yeah,
because Madrid fans are not happy with him. He's been dog shit since December. He's been carried. If you look at that Champions League run to the final, he played no part in it whatsoever.
Rodrigo.
If he don't improve, he's gone, because Real Madrid, they don't accept failure.
So he was carried.
He absolutely was carried, yeah. The thing is, Gareth Southgate, as a manager, he's got no personality. As a manager, you have to have a strong mentality and personality, and you have to be respected, and you've got to earn the respect of the players. Southgate doesn't do that. It's like a holiday camp with him because he's too nice and he don't want to upset anyone. You need managers that will put their foot down and demand you perform to the highest of standards. And if you don't do that, you're dropped and you're binned off. And
all right then. I've got a question for you both. 2 questions, actually. Now, I don't know if you've both heard about whether Southgate wins or loses the final, which obviously is lost now. There was on about the Royals were on about knighting him, calling Sir Gareth Southgate. Would you accept that for being rewarded failure? If he gets knighted for losing a final, what do you think?
No.
That's question 1.
No, because Joe, I know why. Look at the ones that's United. Lewis Hamilton got knighted because he actually won 7 championships and wins and competes no matter what he goes through. That's a real winner. People who are winners in their own sports and their own rights, like Chris Hoy, Bill that, and in cycling, whatever, Wiggins, Froome, they deserve it because they've actually won stuff. They compete at a high level and they deserve to be where they are. They're nice. Gareth Southgate's done nothing. I don't really care. You can't just be rewarding knighthoods for everyone. Kane didn't deserve it. No one deserves it unless they actually win something. You're like, let's say they win the Euros. I still wouldn't even knight them anyway because, all right, you won the Euros, but it's only one trophy. Win the World Cup. All right, fine. But this mentality in the country of just giving everyone a bloody knighthood for winning one thing, when people who have actually got knights have won stuff every year since they were very young going up. You know, it's just what I like about this country. It's all bloody celebrating failure when it should be about celebrating success, which is why the Olympics, to me, right, is an example of when it actually was good. When we actually have people competing in our own country. This is a whole different point, but it's what I'm making. A lot of them actually got united off that because they actually won gold medals in the British Olympics. Yet you got players, being touted for it. I'm like, no, for me, definitely not. Go on, Jack.
I think what they do need to do with him, instead of a knighthood, they should just give him a certificate of at least you tried.
E45.
You nearly did it. Participation trophy.
Jesus Christ, participation trophy.
All right, then. My second question was, if the FA was to keep him on to 2026 of the World Cup, do you wash your hands of that tournament?
Yep.
I wash my hands of my English passport, mate. I'm Spanish, if that happens.
Well,
I am not watching a single game if he's still manager.
I'm looking from Norway or Spain, so other than two will do, or Belgium.
Yeah.
That's them three will do. I'm not good English because I'm sorry, right? I don't really I'm not even a buddy about sovereignty. I don't give a shit about that kind of stuff because our country's a shithole anyway. So I don't care if I love it or not. We are. It is what it is. If you can't see that, that's fair enough. But the fact is, like, we as a country, especially for England, especially our history of actually winning something, we actually should be demanding a lot more than this. But the problem is, when our own standards are being met, I ain't going to back it. That simple. Mentality, accountability is best ability, not giving praise out for the sake of it. No.
Yeah. This PR process surely has to come to a close now. You get all these England fans are influenced by the media. All these idiots paying the Sky subscription. It's poisoning the brain. It's poison for the brain. It's like a virus. Like, people just try and have the same opinion, the same narrative, and if you go against it, you're seen as toxic and negative. So they try and shut us down because we don't buy into this PR. It's a joke.
They've played the game, lad. That's why they've got the platform to say, you're only a match-going fan. You don't matter. I've played the game. Like your Gary Linekers, your Gary Nevilles, Alan Shearer. I've played the game. I've got an England cap. You haven't. You only just drink beer in the stand. That's the difference.
And they still won nothing. They still won nothing. Yeah. In fact, they're worse than the current team.
Mate, so Jeff Hurst. Jeff Hurst has what happened in a World Cup final. I'd rather listen to someone from that team than any other team, because at least he got a hat trick in a final at Wembley against Germany, a good German team, by the way. At that point, actually won stuff to themselves. Beckenbauer and that, a elite German team. So I'm sorry, I'm not at any of this like rubbish about listen to me. You don't win anything yourselves, mate. Honestly, our pundits are shit anyway. Most of the punditry, as per usual, it's just all a bunch of don't get me wrong, right? I respect them when they actually do call them out, and fair enough, finally. But let's be real, let's be honest, right? Most of the time, right, they're always just sucking up to them, and that half time. Oh, the way they just try and back them and sort of just I'm like, are you watching singing as we're watching? It's like that first half was terrible yesterday. None of those players have come off that pitch. I know we're City fans, but I'm calling out our own players as well. They were terrible. They were terrible.
You see, for me, right, I don't want to be too critical on someone like Phil Foden because, I mean, like I said earlier, how does he go from Premier League Player of the Year to being invisible dog shit at England? There's got to be a reason behind that, and that reason is Gareth Southgate, because Pep Guardiola would not allow him one game to drop them standards from being top class for Man City to go below par for England. The problem lies with Southgate, even with dare I say it, Kyle Walker, but Kyle Walker's just been crap all season.
Get him gone.
The bigger point is Phil Foden for me.
This Southgate, what I think he's done, he's kidnapped Phil Foden and replaced him with Jay Slater. That's where he's been all this time. That can't be Phil Foden on that pitch. That cannot be Phil Foden.
Oh,
trying to get us cancelled, Jack.
No one cares. End of the day, right? You can say what you want, as long as it's not really horrible. Carry on, it's fine. But it's what I mean. Section, but it's so right. He's one-dimensional. There is no changer. I don't mind if you're sitting back. I get that, but where's the focal point to play off the ball to stand the counter attack? If Kane plays a focal point, it probably would work. But because he's running around midfield like a maniac with no actual ability to what's going on, you haven't got any runners because Saka's a quick player. He isn't that quick. Whereas before you had Sterling, you had Sancho who could run and get that pace behind them. We haven't got that. It's just pointless. And the thing is, Bellingham's not a left winger. He's a box-to-box midfielder. And I'm not saying drop him because he's one of our best players and should be playing in the team. Obviously, personality and mentality, he has his own problem that he needs to sort out, but he's still one of our best players and should be playing. The problem is, he was putting players where they should be playing. Like, I couldn't believe he was playing Bellingham against Carvajal. Like, where's the width? It's nothing. It just felt like an absolute just messy, just constant like weird formation that wasn't working properly. Whereas Spain were resolute, had a plan, kept finding because like us when playing against a back five. Patience, it will come. And one ball from Miles Williams, goal. I knew it was coming because straight away I thought it doesn't matter if Rodri comes off because Zubmani's a good player as well in his own right. He's a very good player, Zubmani. For Sociedad, he has a good job Rodri would do. That's because they've got players that fight for the shirt. We don't have that at all because all I hear is talk from them rather than actually fight and aggression.
Yeah,
It's
so many PR interviews. This
Lions
deep
tournament.
It's ridiculous.
Start of the tournament. Do you remember it, Jack, when me and you was having this conversation on Discord? What did we say about all the players' egos? And they're saying, why are you giving us criticism? We're playing fine. We back Southgate. We don't get what you're on about. Why are you slagging us off?
When they pay 200 grand a week, they should just shut up and get on with it because they're living a privileged life. We'd love to put on that shirt and play for our country, but we can't. We'd be grateful, even if it was against like San Marino. But they're just turning up and just saying, you can't criticise us, you can't say anything.
We can.
Declan Rice was the prime example. I can't remember what game it was, unless you can help me, Jack. But when we was watching that game, and I seen Declan Rice's interview saying, "I don't get the criticism," and it was his tone, his arrogance of his voice. He sounded proper cocky, like not being funny, Declan, mate. But what have you won? You've won a BTEC Europa League with West Ham. You've got Phil Foden in your camp, who's won Champions Leagues, multiple Premier Leagues, FA Cups. He's got the right to talk. You haven't. You've only won a BTEC Europa League with West Ham, mate. You're coming to Arsenal and you're not captain no more. You're just a player and you're acting like you're innocent. It's all fine, mate. You performed badly in that white shirt, that 3 lions on the badge. You didn't deliver all tournament, Declan. Now look at you. We can say, ha, 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 you didn't win. Look at all that big mouth talk you gave us at the start of the tournament. That is on you, Declan Rice. You're arrogant.
He was terrible, by the way. He was all tournament. He was shite.
I don't think I've seen him play one progressive pass the entire tournament. He always gives it back to Pickford or Stones. When Southgate plays a system where it's about soaking the pressure and hitting them on the break, we have no end products. We have no pace, apart from a couple of games Saka actually made runs. When we won the ball in the final quarter or the final third, we panicked. We just passed the ball to the nearest player and then shoot from a stupid distance. How are you going to get when you're behind in a game? You need a plan. You need players who are going to run into space and receive the ball. And we don't have that. We just have players that are panicking. You look at Saka. He didn't overlap in the final. He didn't. Every time he got the ball, he gave it away or passed it backwards. Like when you're 2-1 down with 5 minutes to go, make something happen. Put a cross in. Take players on. Do something. It's a joke.
It is an absolute joke. And it's never. It's the thing is, right? It's never going to change because you can say what you want about. Oh, you never know what can happen in football, mate. We're not stupid. We're not stupid. Like this has been happening for what 60 odd years almost now. You can't bullshit. We know what's going to happen there until the fans realise that what instead of saying it's coming home, we'll actually just go and win the play tournament because using these songs are just a way of people just become delusional. It's just
making us embarrassing. If I was a Spain fan, Scotland are taking the piss out of us now. Fucking Wales, Ireland.
Yeah, Hugh Murray's had a right go at England, hasn't he?
And
He's got every right to.
Rightly so.
Hugh Murray's got every right to dig at England fans.
If I was Spain going into that final, I'd be laughing my cock off looking at the fans going into that game. It's like a jolly up. It's not a competition. It's a holiday camp. These videos I keep seeing on the England YouTube channel, Kyle Walker riding a bike, Declan Rice riding a bike, Anthony Gordon hitting his head off the pavement. Mate, you're supposed to be training for the matches. You're not there to ride a bike.
Lions Den.
It's a holiday.
For one tournament, can we just sack off the YouTube channel? Just sack it
please.
off. Honestly,
America 26.
It's become an Americanized playground. You see Spain doing this. You see Germany doing this. You see France doing it. They just focus on getting the job done. Sack off all of this bullshit. Sack it off completely and see what happens. I guarantee you, with no media coverage or press, whatever, you get a team focused on getting the job done. But because this country is so infested with media PR and it's too far gone at this point now, I mean, you could do it, but they did a massive change up of ripping up the entire thing to even get there. But this is what I mean. And even City go with it sometimes. I know it's good content, but it's still very much the same thing. But at least we're winning stuff. We're winning stuff. I'm saying something literally different than that. But this mentality. I mean, look, us three, our mentality is always the same for City and for anything. But if we want to see our country win something, it's going to be a wholesale change up of everything. And that's not going to happen. So that's why I'm resigned now, saying it ain't going to happen until people just change it up here.
Yeah.
You see, for me, what the problem is you get like Gary Lineker, especially Gary Lineker, because he loves having a little going at people who slag England off. Someone like him, Rio Ferdinand, Eni Aluko, even, right? You get all these pundits on ITV, BBC, Sky Sports, TNT, right? What they've got is, it's like when people was having got Harry Maguire from Man United, for example, or Kyle Walker with us, you've got to listen to them and say, oh, you've just got to respect him. He's English. Why? Why is it because he's English? If you're performing badly on the pitch, you've got a right to be criticised, and you've got a right to say, this is not accountability. This is not professionalism. We want to compete. We don't want to drop off. But these pundits, just because they're on a nice paycheck and because, oh, you're English, we'll give you an English passport, you can get off it free. It's like when Capello was in charge of England, they slated Fabio Capello. They said he's not the man for the job, but because Southgate's English and he's a nice man, it's it's shake hands, happy days. You've got us to a couple of finals. Yeah, you're English. Here's your English passport. You can get away with it. But when it comes to Fabio Capello or Sven-Göran Eriksson back in the day, yeah, you get cooked, you get grilled. Is it just because it's foreign?
Yeah, I hate the fact they can't take criticism because they're just never going to improve. I always say this: respect is earned. You don't walk around the England camp doing these stupid interviews like Billy Big Bollocks just because I get a cap. You've got to earn the right to have that badge on you.
Jack.
Exactly. Respect is earned, not given. You have to earn it. Go and win a trophy, and then
this might sound a bit controversial, right? But only from what I've seen on Twitter. You look at Ten Hag, right? Reasonably, he's done a decent job. He's won a couple of trophies, but the media seem to cook him. But when it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Man United legend, and they was performing shit, there wasn't winning trophies. Whereas Ten Hag is, they let him off because he's a United legend and he was part English as well. Ten Hag comes in and they want to cook him because he's not part of our English culture. Yeah, he's won something.
It's weird, isn't it? Like, look at the way Pep's been treated as well at times in this country. Look at the way, like, even Klopp at times been treated as well. Like, because they're not English managers, but because they win stuff and say it as it is, to call things out. This doesn't matter if you agree with them or not, but they say it how they feel, which is why I respect them so much for what they do. You got Conte saying it as it is about Tottenham. You got Mourinho saying it because they call everything out. We don't like it. It's the truth, and the truth hurts. This is why these shows happen. We will call it out because I'm done with it. So are you two. It's just the more people start waking up to this shit, the more we start making a change overall. Because I don't want us to be. I want everyone to compete. I want everyone to have a mentality to win because then you get a better league, a better English division.
Yeah.
All right, I want to see United actually compete again because I want us battle them every week. I want to see Arsenal do that. I want to see everyone compete. But the only way that changes if we cut out the media bullshit and the bloody Twitter nonsense that you see on there where people comparing the players. That's what they care about. And you start getting fans in the stadiums backing the team and quite well. Does like a Barcelona do it, and Madrid do it, Atletico do it, Valencia do it in the Liga, how Liga 1 do it, how Italy do it, how the other leagues do it. Because honestly, we are far from away the best league in the world. We're not.
Yeah, we're miles off it. You get lesser leagues. Even Portuguese fans don't accept this, and they never compete in Europe at all.
No.
Like Swiss teams, Danish teams, all across Serbian teams, even.
We know about Serbia, don't we, Jack?
Yeah, less said about that.
But what it is, lads, you've got to remember, because Gary Lineker is on the payroll of BBC, TV licenses and all that. Gary Lineker is the most paid man in the BBC. So obviously he can't say nothing bad about England, otherwise his wages will get cut or he'll be out of a job. And that's what's holding us back. Someone like Gary Lineker.
This is what I mean.
If Southgate wasn't English, they'd be grilling him the same way they did Capello and Swen. But because he's English, Southgate's English, that's why Lineker's right up his ass.
Yeah. It's honestly, this is why, for me, there needs to be a non-bias. Because honestly, you even see, is it on the Dutch channels? You see Van der Vaart grilling the Dutch team. You got in Spain. They even when they're not playing well, they've got players that aren't playing well. Where is that in our country? Because I tell you, if we had that, if we had Lineker grilling Harry Kane, you would get a lot more respect going around. You get his standards going up, and Kane would be a better player because they don't like to hear negative stuff. Like I say, the only players in Carl Walker is a whole different point in itself. He needs to bugger off, whatever. But
he was a goal last night.
Yeah, John Stones and Phil Foden for me. John Stones came out on TalkSport and said it as it is. He didn't hide from it. He said how he really felt, which is because obviously he's won stuff. Foden was a little bit hit and miss because it's not going to be anyway. But because they've won stuff, I respect them more. Like also, I don't really care what Rice has to say about stuff or Kane. They've won anything. They've won nothing.
A beat at Europa League for Rice. That's it.
Like even Saka. Look, Saka actually, I'll give him a little bit of respect. He actually played very well this tournament. But he's saying, "Oh, if I'm playing at left back, it won't suit us well." Mate, you're a player. You don't decide where you play. It's a manager's job. This is what I mean. It's entitlement we've got, and that's not just certain players. Overall, entitled squad of players that think that they know where they should play. We need a manager in there that's going to rough the feathers up again because clearly he needs to win. It's gone too far.
For me, right, Harry Kane, what is all this dropping deep business about? You're supposed to be, like we said the other night, Luke, a natural number 9, the classical forward. Would you ever see Ruud van Nistelrooy, Henry, Drogba, Torres, Rooney, even our players, Tevez, Aguero and Haaland dropping this far deep? They'd be in their box waiting for all the crosses, all the tap-ins. And that's what makes a good striker. Just being in the box, being a poacher or being a complete forward, not being a defensive midfielder / striker. Don't get Harry Kane's game at all this tournament.
No.
He's rubbish. For me, it's hard to say Harry Kane because he's a very strange player. He scores a lot of goals. He's a decent finisher. But every club and every team he plays in, they never seem to get over the line. Why is that, you think? It's mentality.
Yeah.
Doesn't know how to get over the line.
Because you got Tottenham fans trying to say, "Oh, back Harry," and I'm like, "Oh, you should have dropped Harry. Shut up."
Honestly, he's got to earn it. He's got to earn my.
I'm sorry. These fans need to stop defending your players. If they play shit, even their own players will call them out.
I think City fans have overprotected Foden a little bit too much, and I love Foden, but he's been crap.
Southgate, yes, hasn't helped, but he could still play better.
Yeah, I agree.
What he does, which is what I'm saying. John Stone doesn't perfect himself. I'd say it was good in the final, apart from a couple of bits, but he was good in the final overall. Walker has been absolutely just diabolical.
He's been shocking for 12 months now.
Get him out. Look, thank
Get
you for
him
your
gone.
service. Look, thank you for what you've
Captain
done.
armband.
Actually, were good, but give that armband to Diaz, a real captain.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm tired of him, man.
I think they should have just left him in Germany. They should have left half of that squad. Just let him stay there. Rip up their passports. Don't
Cross the
let them come
boats, lad. Cross the shore.
Cross the shore.
I mean, Keir Starmer's on about stopping the boats. They could have been on the boats back home rather than been on a plane.
Oh, okay. Right, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to say something controversial here. This is going to shock a few people.
I'll go on.
But I don't think Harry Kane is world class. I'm
No.
sorry.
I agree.
But now, the analysis behind this. Yes, he's been scoring goals for Tottenham and obviously Bayern this season. But look at the players he's had around him for Tottenham. Son, Lucas Moura, Richarlison sometimes. For Bayern Munich, Leroy Sané, what's he called? The other Bayern winger. Musiala, yeah. He's had so many good players around him. Now, you put him in the England shirt, look at the complete difference. And it's not just Gareth Southgate ball. It was like it with Roy Hodgson at the Euros in 2016. Now, you also take the facts he's scoring goals. That's all well and good. But everyone else has done that. Ruud van Nistelrooy, Drogba, Torres, even our players, like I said, Tevez, Haaland, Aguero. But what do they have different to Harry Kane? They have the trophies. They have the mentality. If Harry Kane is now going to be, he's 31, 32, Haaland, even Alvarez, they've won like 5 trophies already in 2 seasons. And then obviously they've got previous clubs. And obviously Alvarez international. He's won 3 major honours, 2 Copa Americas and a World Cup. What's Harry Kane done in his entire career? Harry Kane is not world class. He's just getting lucky goals off world class players that he's just tapped the ball in or headed the ball in. Anyone could do that. I'm sorry, Harry Kane, not world class.
Yeah,
he's a good player.
I'm going to build on that point as well. Because I agree with you. Where is his goals in finals, semi-finals, and against big teams? Never. His stat pads against Crystal Palace, or shit teams like that in the Premier League with Tottenham, and then with Bayern, his stat pads against the shit teams there. He goes missing in the important games. That's not the kind of character that you want in your dressing room going into a cup final. He's played in at least 10 finals now, and he's gone missing in every single one of them.
Yeah,
he's a good player at best.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But he's not on a world-class level.
He's far from it.
No. And the thing is, right, I mean, I think for me, Tony and Watkins have done more than he has. He has scored less goals, but obviously, Tony's more of a conventional number 9 striker anyway, and Watkins is a good behind the defence, can run in behind, and because he's good for Villa. I'd say he's probably, I mean, people will say he's not better than Harry Kane, but Watkins has done a lot more than that, because I know he got third in top 4.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not a trophy, fine, but when he's played for Villa, I can't fault him. I can't fault him for how good he is. And this is why, for me, again, as a country, we need to start demanding more from these players. And this is where the media have got to change everything around. Stop defending these players. Stop saying, oh, we're behind you, lads. No. I'm not saying you can't support them, but they've got to earn support. They've got to earn it.
Yeah.
Because the fact that you got Gareth Southgate, who relegated this team from Nations League A to B, by the way.
I forgot that.
He relegated us from that. Who I'm playing Ireland and Greece. Yeah. You got he's been in 2 finals and bottled it. Say finally bottled it. Quarter finally bottled it. It's like, seriously, can we just call it out? Yes, we've gone further than we have because Hodgson was that fucking terrible. He was honestly just disgraceful. But doesn't mean he's safe from criticism. If the FA keep him on, they are admitting failure. They're admitting that we want to carry on. We want 2 more years this year. And honestly, people will start leaving. They'll say, no, And you go right back to where you were 8 years ago when we lost to Iceland 2-1 in the last 16 game, where the nation have practically given up on this team and England as a whole, and it was broken beyond repair. Then you got him obviously trying to rebuild it again, but they got to the point where the FA have kept on for too long now. That's causing negativity and hostility all over the place. They should have sacked him after that Euros, not this one, the last Euros. That
Yeah, I
final,
agree.
it should have been right. You got to the final, but you didn't win it, or you threw it away. Get out, new guy come in. I don't know how harsh that sounds. If that was Spain, and it was a home Euros, and they lost the final penalties to a team that wasn't as good as they were, he'd have been sacked.
Yeah, you have to be ruthless because otherwise, when you let someone stay after failing, they'll get more comfortable in their position because they know no matter how shit they do, they won't get sacked. So
You see-
ultimately, it's
Go on,
setting
Jack,
a bad example. It's setting a bad example for not only the manager but the players because they can just turn up and do whatever they like because there's no pressure to win anything, and that's the problem caused again by the media that have spread it through the entire England fan base, and it has to stop because I don't see it changing until it does.
You see, for me, right, I mean, this tournament, like Jack's just said, and you've said as well, Luke, should have gone after that Euro 21 final. This tournament, like Jack said, he's got comfortable. He's eased his way into the job. And look what's happened. We've gone 1-0 down basically every match this tournament. 1-0 down every time. And then players' moments have saved him across entire tournament, like especially the knockouts. The Bellingham overhead kick, Akanji's missed penalty, and obviously Watkins' last-minute winner. Moments have saved him. Why? Because the players are comfortable with him, and Southgate's afraid to go balls deep and make ruthless decisions. I mean, every time England have scored, what's Southgate done? Rather than go for the throw like last night, Spain were on the ropes. Spain were on the ropes last night, and what did Southgate do? Go back to being conservative and just like say, just camp out the box, just camp it out, rather than go for the throw. He isn't ruthless.
And it was so annoying because when we went for Spain in them 15 minutes, we were all over them. As good as they are, they can be got at. As good as they are, every team can be got at.
What would you do, right? What would you do if you just scored a goal, especially you're equalised? What would you do? Just say, right, we're back in the game. Let's just camp behind the box again. Put 10 men behind the ball. Or would you go for them and try and get the second goal?
The momentum swung in our favour.
Momentum swings.
Exactly.
It reminds me of the Italy game when we went 1-0 up through Shaw. We should have gone for the throat, got 2 or 3 past
at
him.
Wembley.
Then second half, sit back, conserve possession, and get on the line. Because I've been fine with that. So you guys have been. I don't mind defending and being defensive when you need at the right moments. But when you go 1-0 up, it's not enough. Get 2, 3, even 4 if you have to. Get the game done. Second half, get the subs on, whatever. Grealish, whatever, and then don't just assume if you've got the game done after 1 goal. That's mental. And I'm sorry, right? Another player to call out, Jordan Pickford. This ridiculous tactic of going along from a kickoff has cost us every fucking moment.
Said that.
We need a goalkeeper who's out from the back. Now Ramsdale ain't that good, but he can do that. I'd rather give Ramsdale a chance to say, right, let's play that from the back. Ramsdale can do that better than I think than my Henderson and bloody Pickford can, and just go with that. I'm not saying he's good, but I'm just saying that it's a keeper that suits the way we play when we play football. Pickford can't do that. He just can't. That's fine. Obviously for Everton, it works for Everton, and he's a good shot stopper. But when we want to play a certain style of play, you need a keeper that plays that style of play. And he has cost us. I'm sorry, the way we sort of start game as well, and the way the defense goes back to him, it just doesn't work at all. And it cost us. I think one moment where she conceded a goal because he went long, lost the ball to Mendy, and they found us at Williams or found Yarzabal. It was a goal. All from that. It just makes you think if we just played out the right way and actually sort of instead of playing the keeper, play it all the way around to defence, obviously, and build up from the back. Not that that's better in the tournament. But
what's the point in kicking off? What's the point in us having a kick off?
Exactly, it wastes time. And and you know what we'll do is Wednesday probably on a review of all the players that have played properly. So we'll start Pickford. Overall, let's be honest here, Pickford. I think he's been good. He's been good. He's done his job. I can't fault him for that. I know whatever, but I think overall I'd say he's been good. Not his best tournament by far. Been at Euros. That's what was his best tournament. Especially actually he's made all them saves. But the way he plays football isn't how we want to play it ourselves. I think next tournament we've got to move on from him. Someone else. Thank you for your service, but we've got to move on.
Do you know what I'd do? What's he called? Could you bring in Trafford when he's a couple of years older? Let him develop in club level and see what he's like.
Hopefully, if he gets better in 2 or 3 years, let's say by next Euros, he's still quite young. Next year, I mean, the World Cup's 2 years away. It has to be quite a change around.
But he could be part of that squad for experience.
Could be, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, but yeah, I think new keeper definitely. I think Carl Walker. Here we go. Here we go. Right, 0 out of 10. I don't care.
-1. -10 out of 10.
Look, context. The guy was brilliant for us. So many for England and for City. He was. Let's not pretend he wasn't.
On his day, yes.
Yeah. He was world class. He's best player in the world for a good 10 years. But the guy is fading. His defensive ability is gone. His pace is starting to go as well. He's just a player that's kind of lost to time now. Carvajal's better than him, and he's older than him. How is that?
He's aged so badly. I think I said this analogy to Brigzy the other night, or was it about a week ago? When you've got a bottle of milk in the fridge, right? And when you're baking a cake, right, or when you're making a meal, you've got very good quality milk, and that was Kyle Walker until last season. But it reached its sell-by date. Now you don't keep using it; you bin it because it stinks of shit. It's gone off. It's past its sell-by date.
Yeah.
One, like you said, his pace is going, his defensive ability is going. I think his mentality is going as well, because I think he's gotten too comfortable after the treble season. And I think as a captain for the club, which is a separate issue, I think that's also affected him. It's made him worse as a player. He's doing far too much in the media. He's not setting a good example for the team or the club and the country he's playing for. I think you just got to find a way to get rid of him. That should be his last ever England game. And I think City need to bin him off to Saudi instantly, because he's only going to get worse. There's no coming back from this. He's 34. You don't see players at 34 getting better. They go steady decline. But he's dropped off a cliff.
Yeah.
Well, it's also 12 months nearly now, isn't it, to when Pep took him out to the restaurant and said, "Look, why do you want to leave? Can't I convince you to stay?" He should have gone in that restaurant and said, "Right, you've been a great servant. Thanks for what you've done over the last 6 years, but I think it's time to call it ties now and part ways." Yeah. But what did he do? I'm not disrespecting Pep here, but it should have been Bayern Munich's waiting for you in the wings.
Yeah.
Go to Bayern. Keep your career relevant. Keep yourself relevant. But he's just cost himself basically over the last 12 months. I'm not being funny, right? But you'll only remember the bad times rather than the good times, especially what he's done this last 12 months. He's given a lot of stick in the media. His performances are proper dicks, and he's cost us in big games, and he's doing it for England.
He's ruining his legacy. No more. He's ruined his legacy, I think, because he's overstayed his welcome. He should have left on a high last summer.
Yep. Right, John Stones. Let's no performance. I've seen better from him overall, but I think he hasn't been that bad. I give it more a 6 out of 10 if I'm being real. I mean,
been all right.
Not great, not best, but I'll let him off. It's not really his fault. This has gone to shit.
The system.
Guehi, 8 out of 10. Guehi's been great. Honestly, Guehi's been very good. He's been solid.
Absolutely.
I mean, Stones has been good as well, but Guehi for me has impressed me. He's actually given us all. And he lost the yesterday final. He wasn't crying. He was pissed off because he knew threw it away. Because he actually has a mentality. I think he'll definitely leave to a better club at some point. He's a good player.
Young talent, and he's got the 26th World Cup on his shoulders as well. He can put the wrongs right.
He will. I think it'll be a key player for us going forward, I think. Now, not Luke Shaw, I can't really rate because it's been a bit up and down. I think I'll give Trippier one here. Honestly, he's done as well. He is done. Trippier is finished.
Yeah. If you look at his Newcastle this season, he's another one like Walker, minus all the stupid interviews. He's past it. You don't need to keep using him. He's done. We played him out of position anyway, but what does he contribute anymore? He's finished.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think the whole defense has been a bit hit and miss really this tournament. It's really,
Yeah.
I mean, Konza did well when he came in. He was good, but I can't rate him because it's been one game. He's deserved more time than that, but one game is not enough to rate a player. But he did all right when he came in. Declan Rice.
Two dog shit.
One. Honestly,
Actually, I'll deduct a point. I'm too generous there. 0.5. That interview, I had to deduct a point off it.
This is not even.
When I go back to Kyle Walker for a sec, I'd definitely give him a -10 after what he said about swapping the trophies for Euros.
Yeah,
like I said to Jack, the 3p, the 4p, every trophy, every Premier League has had a meaning, and he wants to swap that for Euros. Every trophy's had a certain meaning to it.
Well, unlucky for Walker, he's got to stick with a treble and 4p now. He's got no choice.
But Declan Rice, though, yeah, below par. And obviously, that interview, I think it was the first game, it set the tone for him. Like, he was cocky, he wanted to show off, and his performances haven't stepped to that mark of where he said, I'm going to set the bar. You clearly haven't, mate. You've probably been a 4 at best.
Yeah. I mean, look, the thing is for me, right? Go on. Sorry.
I think his interview shown he's the complete opposite of Rodri. So when people put into defensive midfielder debate, you've got the prime opposite. You've got Rodri, who doesn't do interviews. He doesn't do any of that rubbish. He just concentrates on his football. And then you've got Declan Rice coming out, talking shit about the fans, shit about the media, who are actually backing him as well, and just deflecting from his own shit performances, lack of accountability. So I don't want to hear any Arsenal fans compare him to Rodri next season. He's been rubbish all tournament.
It isn't from a delusional look. I personally, when he's a good player, I like Declan Rice. I think he's a very, very good player. Say Bellingham. We're not saying this out of pure hate. We're saying this out of what we've seen. If Rice played brilliantly, we'd be saying he'd be playing brilliantly. We're not ashamed of saying when players play brilliantly. But this tournament, shite.
Is Declan Rice really worth 100 million?
No.
Might be worth 70, but not 100.
45, I'd say. Yeah.
Now, Mainu. Now, I'll be honest with you, I thought he played pretty well this tournament, Mainu. He's a young lad, his first tournament. Yes, he's a United player, but it doesn't matter. If he played for England, we're going to look out of the equation. I give him a 7 out of 10. He's actually appropriate this tournament. He's actually given his all. Has been perfect? No, but he's 18, 19 years old. Have to play in a game where he should be a rotational option rather than someone that comes in every game. And he's put Rice to shame.
I agree with that.
I watched him against us. He beat us par anyway, but he's a brilliant player. Brilliant player. I'm
not Mainu's biggest fan, but what he has got is professionalism. He'll always turn up and he'll always give his all, and he won't come out with these stupid comments like Declan Rice has. I think performance-wise, he's been great. I think he's been slightly overrated by the United fans, but he's not a bad player. He's definitely one of our better players in the tournament. I think he's made a couple of mistakes here and there that haven't really cost us. He's a young player, I get that. So he was one of our better players in the tournament. So I'd probably say 6.5.
Yeah, but for me, right, I think the setup of Gareth Southgate has suited Kobe Mainoo well, because he seems to transition the ball pretty good. And obviously, like, based on his age, I'd give him a 8 out of 10, but on the standards as a whole, you'd probably have to say 6.5 or 7, because obviously the whole team let Kobe Mainoo down rather than Kobe Mainoo let the team down. His transition was top quality.
No, he does a lot of respect for this tournament. Bukayo Saka. Now, I'll be honest with you, I think he played a right tournament. He wasn't world class, but he did what he needed to do. I mean, he's probably been one of our probably better attackers. I mean, we're better than Bellingham. He scored a crucial goal, kept us in the quarterfinals, but got a couple of assists. Has been great all tournament. No, but it's not really his fault. I think I'll give him probably a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10 if I'm being generous. Maybe a 7, but overall, I'd say he deserves a bit more praise than all the other players does. Anyway,
I'll probably give him a 7.5 because minus the final, he actually tries to take players on. Obviously, he didn't do it in the final. Nobody did, but he always tried. He always tried to make something happen, and he always got involved in the game. So it's definitely better than he was in the last Euros anyway when he let the country down. But yeah, definitely a 7.5. Probably one of our best attackers, if not the best in this.
Yeah, it was an attacking threat. You can't argue with that, really.
From our last time.
And this is what we're doing here. This Arsenal-Man City Saka Foden rivalry. You're going to have Arsenal fans saying, "Oh, Saka was world class. Foden was shit." No one's saying that. We're doing the opposite. We're saying Saka was great. We're saying Saka was the bar. So this Man City Arsenal Foden Saka rivalry has to stop. Same with the Declan Rice Rodri stuff. Because we're going to be publicly praising these players well, whereas Arsenal fans would just say, "Oh, you're just holding it to shame. You're just being salty." No, we're taking responsibility by saying your players were either good or rubbish.
Yep, that's how it should be. Now, let's go on to Foden. Let's be honest here, it wasn't good.
4.
One first half that was good. I know, look, out of the way straight away, the Southgate formation didn't work, but that's out of the equation here. How did he play overall as a player? Not good enough. For how good he is, he should be doing a little bit more than what he's doing. I'm not saying he should be scoring goals and assists left, right, and centre, but at least do something. I know against the Dutch is unlucky, fine, but in the other games, terrible.
I don't know for me.
I know where you're coming from, but we got to look at it like this. He could have done a lot more.
Yeah,
that's where I'm coming from.
I agree with he was out of position, but at the end of the day, he still has to take accountability for his poor performances in the role he was played in. And ultimately, he didn't affect the games enough. Apart from that one half against the Netherlands, which he was unlucky, I just don't think he influenced the game enough. He didn't show enough of what he had to offer. So I can't give any higher than a 4, and I think that's probably being generous.
But it's down to neglect, though. It's not because, like I say, he was just shit as he was shit. It's down to neglect and playing in the wrong positions. And then, obviously, when he did play in his correct position, he did flourish. But obviously, he wasn't given the respect because Southgate, like we said the other night, Luke, Southgate doesn't clearly respect him because why did he sub him off when he was having the game of his Euros, basically? Yep. The respect isn't earned between Foden and Southgate, and that's the problem. How do you go, like I say, from Premier League player of the season to shit? It doesn't add up. So no. I'm going to say Foden was just neglected.
Yeah, I think I'll give him a 4.5 just for that, but I can't give him any higher than that. Not because he ain't good enough, but we got to go off what we've seen.
Yeah,
I'm always giving him a 7 for the sake of it. That's not our standard.
Oh no, I agree with you totally.
That'll be going against what we stand for. Yeah.
I agree with you totally. I just think it's down to neglect.
I agree with that. I agree with neglect, but sometimes you got to make the best of it, and I don't think he did that enough.
No. But Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham.
I'm going to start this off because all this hype and obviously over the course of the tournament, one fluky goal, like we said the other night, it's a 50-50 chance. It's a 50% chance it's going in as it did, and it's also a 50% chance it goes tits up. Apart from that, what did he contribute to England across the full tournament? across 7 games. Like Jack said earlier, what does he do in these big games for Real Madrid? He basically was a passenger for Real Madrid's quarter-final onwards after Man City's. And then same with England. He was carried, but he just stepped up at one moment. But I can't see past that fluky goal. It is a fluke, that goal.
I
Other than
agree.
that, totally crap.
I'm going to give him a 4, and the reason he's got a 4 and not a 3 or a 2 is because of that overhead kick that kept us in the tournament. If he didn't do that, I'd have given him a 2.
And the header as well. So I'll give him. I'll give it. He did do stuff, but we can't say he didn't do it. At all.
Yeah, he did contribute, but I
not
think
He's got the PR on his side. That's it.
yeah,
It's like
I
today,
thought
he's been
some-
officially announced as the EAFC cover for FIFA 25.
Yeah, honestly,
you've only got
where's
that
Haaland
gig.
gone? 1 year.
Go on.
Oh, he's gone now. Bellingham's.
Yeah. He's only
ridiculous.
got that gig because of all this PR behind him. Other than that, he's just an average player, like what I said about Harry Kane. He's not world class. He's good at best.
Yeah,
Don't see it in Jude.
he can be a good player. No, he can be a good player.
Mm.
However, it's down to him to mature.
But is he world class?
Yeah.
He's not
Not
world
yet.
class, nowhere
No.
near it, but
Mm.
he can be world class. He can be, but
Okay.
he's at the wrong club for him right now. He's too mature. He needs to be at a club, I don't care about like us, where he could have developed more into a much more complete player, and a better manager would have got him a lot of respect in him, and a lot less PR. And obviously, it'd have been ridiculed and called shit by other fans because they don't like us, but we wouldn't have cared. But you'd have seen a better player overall. You'd see a much better player. But what do I know?
Do you know what the
What do-
problem is? It's like we go back to this English media and this English hype because he's got an English passport and he's going to be the next superstar. The English media, because he's got number 5 at Real Madrid, they're comparing him to Zinedine Zidane. They're two different players.
That's disgrace. A
They
disgrace.
actually are. They're comparing him to Zidane.
if you've seen Zidane play, then you know that. And
But just PR.
in that.
The best midfielder in the world, right? For me, well, right now on form is Rodri. That's the DM. Best midfielder is Kevin De Bruyne. It just is.
Yeah.
And that's where it is.
That's a fact. That's not.
If you're comparing Bellingham to De Bruyne, I'm gonna honestly, I'm like, honestly. But that's all. But this is what I mean. This is why we've got to stop this bloody PR monstrosity as ruining these players, because these are our best players we've had in a long time. By the way, our best young players we've had since the Scholes and Lampard and days. We need the right manager and the right media background to get these players where they need to be. But it's not going to happen because it's happening all over again, like last time. So we'll never learn. And on to the other PR merchant, Harry Kane. Harry bloody Kane.
1.
2.
Kick it
Fair
off,
enough.
Jack, if you want.
1. I don't penalties. Really, I can't look. I don't care that he was in the shot for the golden boot. Penalties. So there you go. It doesn't really require much skill to score a penalty. You just got to have a bit of composure. I thought overall he was ineffective, useless. He dropped deep too much. You're a striker, be in and around the box, get into space, receive the ball, and shoot and try and get the ball on target. And when you don't, give it to someone who's in a better position. You're supposed to keep hold of the ball when you're a striker. He's not getting hold of the ball.
No.
And when he's not got the ball, he drops into a DM position. He tries too hard to get involved in the play. You're a striker. You've got a specific role, and you've got to fulfil that. For me, he was in the team based on favouritism. Let's get it right. He was nowhere near fit enough to play.
No.
He was in shit form towards the end of the season, and we had better options in Watkins and Tony, so we shouldn't have played him. There was no need to play him at all. He was ineffective.
You see, for me, I presume you two have watched the Tottenham All or Nothing documentary. Do you know the one that we had on Amazon? Do you remember there's a clip in Nick? Yeah, there's a clip between Mourinho and Harry Kane. Mourinho says, "I can help you explode. I can help you become the greatest player." Now, if that was Mourinho and he was at Spurs long term, or let's say Harry Kane was at Chelsea, you wouldn't see this Harry Kane dropping 40 yards deep. You'd see Mourinho saying, "Stick in the bloody box.
Yeah.
Stay where you need to be, and we'll get the ball to you. Don't go looking for the ball. You just stay as the natural number 9, as we've seen with Mourinho's teams do." But because Southgate's like, "Oh, I'm not a good manager. Oh, you're my captain. You decide what you want to do, Harry." It's not about that. It's about being a good coach and being a top class striker. And like when I said he's not world class for me, because like Mourinho said, "I'll help you explode." He's not exploding because he's not a proper good coach, and that's also down to Pochettino when he was at Tottenham. He's not world class.
No, and this is the thing. Like, I mean, we'll give the other players a little review. I mean, I'll give Watkins a good 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. I think he did his job where he did. Was he perfect? No, but honestly, I can't even disrespect him for that because he gave us all. Every time he came against Denmark, against Netherlands, against Spain, he did pretty well. He got a winning goal against Netherlands for bloody hell. So he is something more than Harry Kane did in that game anyway. Obviously, got a penalty. But this is what I mean. Like, there's certain players that got disrespected off the bench. Cole Palmer, well, disrespected off the bench.
Cold.
People are not going to like this. I'm going to get slated by City fans for this, but I think we made a mistake letting him go and not giving him the game time he deserved. Now, I know he might not have scored the amount of goals he did that he has at Chelsea or have the same game time, but it would have been an asset. It would have been a good tool in the armoury for our team.
Yep.
And I think 50 million in the end, in hindsight, I know it's easy to say, but 50 million's a steal. He's tearing up trees at the minute, and we're struggling for penalty takers. He's a great penalty taker, you know, and he helps with the English quota side. But I think we should have kept him. I think his performances for England have been quite decent. I think he should be playing more because he tries to make stuff happen. He's one of them players that tries to get involved in the game without trying too hard to get in stupid positions and receive the ball. I'd probably say 7.5.
For me, going back to Watkins, I said what I need to say on Watkins the other night. He's not had the respect from Southgate, but when he's had the minutes, he's delivered. And obviously, he's kept his professional pride by not kicking off, not making a fuss, not like half the rest of the England camp has done. He's kept his head down and he's delivered. With Cole Palmer, cold. I mean, that goal last night, it might have been a moment's goal, but Cole Palmer, he comes up with stuff like that, like we've seen the season before last when he's at Man City. He comes up with some good goals and he puts it out on his sleeve. And
he does.
Yeah, Jack, no one's going to disrespect you for that opinion because a lot of people actually agree with you. It was a bad mistake selling Cole Palmer, especially as it used selling Mahrez as well at the same summer.
Yeah,
so
I also said that was a bad idea.
Yeah, so you've sold two of your best wingers, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at our bench right yesterday, we had Trent on the bench. Now, look, Trent isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I'd have him a Walker right now. I would. I'm not saying he's better than. I'm not saying he's the best option we've got, but Walker's just done. I mean, Trent doesn't deserve actually a chance to right back to see how he would do personally. But Bowen, what is it? Was it one appearance to the bench? One?
Yeah.
I remember Bowen, to be fair.
Yeah, against Serbia.
Serbia, he got a little cameo just to say he had a cap.
He's a good player as well. He's a good body player as well.
He's a decent player. Southgate, as much as people call him a nice manager and he treats his players very well, he fucking doesn't. Because half of him he just lets rot on the bench for half the time. So I don't know where that narrative's come from. But he's a nice guy.
Lewis Dunk, well, they're good anyway, but still. Eze is a great player.
Yeah.
And just wasted. Gallagher.
Shit. I hate him.
Joe Gomez, I mean, bad. He's better than a Dunk, but I said something. Anthony Gordon, disrespected.
Yeah.
Disrespected. Disgraced.
Another player that tries to make something happen and is a bit less predictable.
There's a
try and
reason
play
why the
this. Pro-
Scousers want him.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant player.
He is.
Esri Konsa as well. He's another good player. I wouldn't say he's like absolutely brilliant, but he's a solid option that could do a good job because he's done it at Villa. So I can't say he's probably a chance at some point. Palmer, Ivan Toney as well. Ivan Toney got respected massively because he came on in Slovakia, made a difference, got the header assist for Harry Kane, and he always tries. I can't fault him for that at all.
Do you know what for me is? The problem is these players, whether they've had like little 10-minute cameos here and there, or they've not been used at all across 7 matches. I'd rather go with 18 men to the Euros and let them players go on a holiday because they're just there in Germany training. Whereas when it's been a tough few years, you've had the backlog of COVID, you've had the Qatar World Cup, and next season's going to be more games, more pressure on these players. You might as well say to these players that Gareth didn't actually use, lads, leave Germany if you want. Go on a nice little break with your families. Get ready for your pre-season with your clubs because you're not part of my plans. It's as simple as that. If you're going to have a, 26-man squad, 25-man squad, use all your players, especially when these last few years and upcoming couple of seasons are draining. Players are moaning about they're tired, they're fatigued, there's too many games. Why does Southgate only use certain amount of players? They're just rotting, like Jack said. Get them out of Germany. Let them go on a holiday, ready for pre-season and ready for club. It's a joke.
Yeah, honestly, it's just an absolute joke. People are gonna just find out eventually how bad it has been, but it's a disgrace, and these tournaments that we've wasted now. For a manager that doesn't deserve his players at all. I'm baffled. I'm baffled at all.
Tactics, players being rotted and wasted, players not getting the ball, players kicking off at the fans, saying we're back Southgate when they're used to pragmatic football in the Premier League. How can everyone not see what Southgate has become, especially when he's cost you now 2 finals? There's still a minority of people, and it's not just journalists, it's English fans, minority fans saying Southgate should stay on for 26 World Cup just because he's competed and he's got England to the next level.
No sane man thinks that. Well, they've been brainwashed
Minority
by the media.
section, Jack.
Yeah, but they're idiots. They've been brainwashed by the media. There's no possible way you can argue that you can stay in the job, because ultimately, that's another 2 missed opportunities of winning the Euros. Let me remind you, Denmark and Greece have won it. We've not. Soviet Union won it. We've not. The World Cup, we could have competed for that. We didn't. So with a better manager, we've got a decent squad of players. They're just not being used correctly. And until we stop with this stupid sort of protect the manager and it's coming home and all these bollocks, we're never going to progress anywhere. And we're going to be in the same position after the World Cup and the next Euros and then the next World Cup. We're going to be here every 2 years going on about the same thing because they're not. If they don't change it, it's not going to change.
I've got a question for Luke here. Me and Jack know this through LB, but do you remember what happened with Ivory Coast in the AFCON?
Yep.
And they got beat. They got beat 4-0, and look what happened. Should we have done that with Southgate?
Yep.
Mid-tournament.
I'd have sacked him after Slovenia or Slovakia.
Yeah. Mid-tournament as well. We should have done that.
We should have sacked him straight away, brought in a proper manager, said to Jose, do you manage to finish this tournament off and then go back to Fenerbahce? And he'd have won us that trophy.
Yep.
Because he'll know how to play against that type of Spain side. Because he built a career of managing to shit house wins against more attacking teams. And he does it very well.
Yeah, he does. But yeah, do you know what? I'm done with it. I think we've done it enough now. We've given enough attention. Let's give Spain a bit of prop for we end the stream.
Yeah.
I think for me, right, I'm so pleased that Rodri's finally getting the respect he deserves.
Absolutely.
Absolute disgrace he didn't get it in the first place. But that's good because he's a City player, and you know what's like us. No, everyone hates us because and jealous of us. But the man has been unbelievable this tournament. He's been absolutely fantastic. Like that first half against England, he was brilliant. Just constantly stopping the midfield from, going forward. Just being that absolute brute that he is for us. And
Yeah.
that block against Harry Kane was brilliant. The way he sort of had to slide in,
Top
like
quality.
It's just, for me, he's like 2 or 3 players in one. He's not one of these one-dimensional players. He's very good at a massive amount of attributes you need to be a player, and especially at such a crucial position of a team, he does it very, very well. And people only give plaudits to wingers. People only really like wingers and strikers and midfielders, attacking midfielders. They don't look at people that know the game, understand how good he is at what he does and how important he is to every team he plays in. And that's why I think he should get Player of the Year last year, this year, and hopefully every year for the next 5 years, the way he's going. I just hope we get a backup and he don't get injured.
yeah, that's what I hope as well. Because it's just honestly, I'm just Spain and the way they play a tournament. They're the only good team at tournament, by the way. The rest of them are shit.
Yeah. I agree. They were
the worst Euros I've watched in a long time. The worst Euros.
France were crap. Belgium were crap. Germany were okay. Apart from that, there's nobody that really impressed me. Italy was shit. Croatia were awful.
Netherlands were pretty average. Yeah.
Netherlands were, they were bang average.
That goes back to my point, what I said earlier and on last stream as well. Spain have had that reset. They've gone from top to bottom. Manager, structure, tactics, youth setup. They've done everything, and obviously it's translated into them winning a major trophy. And what's to say they could go and compete again for the next few years and dominate? Because I mean, France, when they did win the World Cup in 2018, either side of it, they had the 2016 Euros final that they lost, and obviously Qatar World Cup, so they had a little brief spell. It might be Spain's turn to take over football again because they've got everything right.
I think they will. They're a very exciting team to watch. Everything seems planned. Everything seems like there's every passing that they do seems like there's a reason for it. I agree with you. I just love watching them play. Every time you see a player make a pass or go into a position, there's a reason for it. They don't just do it because the manager tells them to or it's part of the system. They do it. They do it. Everything they do is with purpose, and that's because they've had a proper reset and they've got a proper manager with proper players who want to win and not focused on all this stupid fucking PR bullshit. They're focused on winning the trophy and they've got the mentality to win. And that's why
down to the FA, mate, because with the Spanish FA, after 2012, they went on that bad dip, didn't they? Where
they did, yeah.
I think the 2014 World Cup and 2018 World Cup was just bad for them. So they thought we need to change the culture. And obviously, like I said earlier, this manager who won the Euros last night, he's gone from top to bottom, well, bottom to top basically, like under 17s, under 19s, 23s, and now the first team. And he's competed and he's won major trophies and honours. And that's obviously something what England need to do next. They need to rip everything what Southgate's done and go from top to bottom. Keep bringing the kids in because, I mean, let's be honest. I'm sure Luke's had this conversation, but me and Jack have had it. I think there's a talent drain coming up in football.
Yeah,
and obviously,
I've been saying it for
the
a while
English
now.
talent culture is obviously slowly dying. That's what we need to do: rip everything up and obviously reset and rebuild to go again.
We have to because
we need managers as well. There's not enough English managers out there.
No, there's not enough.
English managers are crap at the minute.
Yeah,
that's what Spain did.
They're all just washed up old Premier League legends who turn out to be crap managers.
Yeah, and honestly, last night was a proper reminder to everyone who's been delusionally believing that it was coming home. Has finally sunk in that we ain't nowhere near bringing everything home. We are the first team ever to lose 2 back-to-back European finals.
Time to rip it up then and start a refresh.
If you're sitting there
grassroots, you name it.
it's a complete reset needed of everything. Like not just this England team, everything. Because
I mean,
well,
go on, sorry, Luke. I'll let you carry on.
that's right. We are at a point now. We're at a crossroads. Everything because if we carry on how we're going, it will only get worse and worse, and we'll fall further down, and might end up doing another Croatia 2008 and miss out on the tournament again. We are at that point, and people will think that this is crazy, but people would say this exact same thing in 2004 around that time, and it got to that point again. At that point of England, we are very close to doing that if we don't buck our ideas up and get a manager who's actually good. And this, honestly, and if it happens, us three will be sat there thinking, well, we warned you lot. We warned you. Like, if you just start calling everyone negative, doesn't believe it, your bullshit, why don't you say, you know what, they have a point. Let's actually back everyone and say, come on, you're better than this. Hold everyone to account. You'll start saying, I'm not saying you'll guarantee win anything because football's not a guaranteed game of wins, but at least I expect us to go out of the tournament playing good football and doing your best. If we went out last night playing our best football we've ever played and we were lucky, I'd be sitting, all right, fair enough.
Fair enough. Got beat by the better team.
Yeah, but we can't say that because we've got out in a whimper. A whimper. So, yeah, honestly, thank God it's over. Bring back City. I'm just... no more England for a while. Honestly, this Nations League, I don't really care about it. I don't really care about that or any qualifiers. Just I am bothered because until we see changes, I ain't going. You know what I mean,
well, the names that are being touted, and this ain't going to sound promising. Obviously, we've mentioned what's he called? Who was it? English manager. Jack mentioned him.
Eddie Howe.
Newcastle guy. Eddie Howe. Yeah, sorry about that. It took me a while. Eddie Howe's been touted. There's also Frank Lampard being touted. Steven Gerrard. Thomas Tuchel. And wait for it. Do a drum roll, please. Lee Carsley, under-21s manager.
I'd take Tuchel out of them lot because he's a
Lee
good
Carsley,
manager.
Jack. Lee Carsley, under-21s. That's another puppet. That's another easy paycheck for the FA. That's not a reset if you get Lee Carsley in.
It's not. It's just prolonging the bullshit. It
does not reset the culture. And I'm sure, Luke, what I want you to do tomorrow is when you stream with Danny and Alex, ask them what they think of a culture reset, because I'm sure they'd be on board with it as well.
They will be, yeah, definitely. Because David said the exact same things it's on tournament anyway. So it's, I know we do a show just at us three, but tomorrow podcast will be the exact same thing. Honestly, we're all done with this shit. We've all had enough. 60 years without a trophy.
And we've got fans. Definitely.
Look, I'm sorry. If we get Lee Carsley, I'm fully done. At that point, I'm ripping it up. Like it's over because that's the mission that we're done.
It's under 21, so they could easily appoint him because it's like cheap, saves them plenty of money, and obviously it'll be a yes man to drag in.
It'll be the next Southgate in their eyes.
2.0.
The FA are the problem here.
Yep, they are.
As a wise man once said, it's time to go.
Yeah, that's literally pretty much.
He's got to go.
You need the right people to do the right reset. Obviously, you need football intelligence, football IQ in there. You don't need businessmen. You need proper footballing IQ, intelligent people to say, the project's not working. This is how we change it up. And this is how we implement a new strategy with a manager that's got a CV behind them and a pair of bollocks.
I'd accept a project if it wasn't a PR object of just the media trying to persuade us that something's different from last time, because it all just seems to me like it's another false dawn every single tournament.
We have this problem in rugby league because I watch a bit of rugby league, and the RFL, Rugby Football League, they are run by businessmen and women, not rugby league people. There was talks years ago about Eddie Hearn coming in to take over rugby league because the project was failing in rugby league. That's what you need. You might even need an Eddie Hearn to come in the FA and advise him, because Eddie Hearn knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. It's like you need people who are actually know the sport to run it.
Mm.
That's how it should be. Because the thing is, it's why I've got it in like the banner. We need a complete change around, not business people. We need people who know what it's like to build, not bloody old men and women. The sport is just past them now, because it's not a business. This is about winning stuff. We want English football to be back where it should be, not this low point where it's just constantly going down the shitter. It's going to get worse and worse if we're not careful.
60 years is a long time in football, isn't it? Imagine it.
Very
Imagine
long.
this scenario. It gets to 100 years as a big country, especially with one of the biggest leagues in the world. I know it's obviously not delivering to that standard, but if the Premier League and the England FA continue not to win major trophies, it's going to look bad for the Premier League. And how can you say the Premier League is the biggest league in the world?
Exactly, and that is where we're at. And honestly, I can't wait for the City. I'm just done. I think the fact that we've got a nice 9 days now of producing content to look forward to, with the players coming back, and Celtic, is it next week? Is it next Wednesday? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, midnight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not watching that, but
I can't. I've got work the morning after.
yeah. I'll do a review of it. But I'll watch the games back, but I'm not sitting up with Ridiculous Hour. I mean, I was doing it for Haaland because everyone was, but it's
Do
like
the AC Milan one.
Yeah,
That's in the week, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Saturday night.
No, I don't look. I mean, these shows will carry on anyway. Look, I know it's been an England one, but it'll carry on for City as well. Like, this is going to be a show about facts and opinions. Like, they're actually not going to be hidden away and just given to people who want to be positive. Look, if we're positive, it's for a good reason. It's a deserved reason. Like, if City play really well, and let's say some players like Walker plus someone play well, we'll give praise because we're not people. We're not going to lie to people. What's the point?
Exactly. Positivity is earned. You have to earn it. You don't just give it out. You've got to earn it.
Exactly.
Same with trophies. You've got to earn them.
Exactly. And that is what will hold a club to account, and also England to account if they want to win something. But yeah, we're going for over an hour and a half, which is a long stream to discuss England and buddy and all that kind of stuff. But it's been needed. This show was needed to call out the rubbish, to call out the lies, the bullshit, the media nonsense that we've been hearing for the last 4 weeks. This nation has failed again, and will keep failing for another 60 years if it doesn't fuck us ideas up. These songs need to be binned, bin them off completely. Just a whole reset from top to bottom. I'm not saying get all the players, but we need a reset of mentality of football throughout the entirety of the teams. And you've got players like coming through, like Howard Bellis, Rico Lewis, obviously the under 21s are coming through that will be in this team in the next 2 or 3 years. We want to be at a point where this is going to be the team we go for. But in order to do so, English football as a whole needs to be better as well.
Yeah. I think everything that's ever won in any team or any country, it all starts from the mentality. You have to have the foundation. I know people don't like me using this example, but Real Madrid, right? They are the most elite club for a reason, right? If you don't win a trophy, you're sacked. If you're a manager and you have a really bad season and you don't improve the year after, you're sacked. It's about accountability. None of this, look what he's done for the club, look what he's done for the country, etc. If you're not doing the job, they'll sack you and they'll bring someone in that will do it.
Yep.
It's a results business. And if you don't do it, you're out. And that's how it should be in every club, every country across the world. And that's the only way we'll get back to the Premier League being a competitive league again, if people have the same mentality.
That's grassroots all the way to Premier League, I'm afraid, lad. And that's to do with the talent drain as well. Talent pool in players, talent pool in managers, talent pool in the right business people. Well, I say business people, I mean technical directors, scouts, physios, chief executives. Everything needs to be remodelled.
I agree.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, well, that's another Euros done. Thank God. Another 2 years to wait for another tournament, probably. Yeah, it will be. Yeah, honestly, look, these shows will probably carry on. Look, obviously, there's already a schedule, because obviously it depends on what happens. We'll see what happens. We're all free, whatever. I'm not going to plan anything out until we know what's going on with stuff. But it's been good to sort of just vent. Honestly, I think everyone needs this. So we're all sick and tired of all these positive PR bullshit YouTube channels that lie to your face, tell that, oh, it's fine, no, oh, you did really well. Like nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like the trophy wasn't lifted. It's in Spain's hands, not our hands. Their own fault. We'll win this mess again. 2 finals in a row. It should be celebrated. It should be condemned as a failure. But because we got to a final, it's fine. This country's in the bin, and we'll be in the bin until it changes. So I'm sorry to say it, but you can't just you wouldn't get this in Spain or France, or Germany, or Brazil. Brazil went out in the quarterfinals, and they're getting slated for it.
You wouldn't get this with Albania, even.
No, you wouldn't, because Albania actually did better than we did, and they went out the groups. Georgia did better than us. Yeah. Oh well.
Wow.
City coming up. City are back. We're all good. No more rubbish to deal with now, and we'll do a little. We'll do a couple of shows to sort of discuss in the preseason game, obviously, and any transfers we get. Look, transfers been dead anyway. Honestly, I'm discussing anything at all, because there's no point. It's literally the most quietest I've seen City have in a long time, and you've got like Edison being linked away to Saudi, and I don't know what to believe anymore.
Have you seen the Edison news that dropped before the stream?
Yeah, I did see that. Although,
yeah,
what I get right, you got people saying, "Oh, exclusive. He isn't going." Now he's going. So what is it then?
No, it's Man City want 50 million, whereas the Saudis only want 30.
Yeah,
we want 50 minimum.
I only believe what happens when it's official, because there's a load of these sources out there that just talk bollocks. You never know who to trust, so I don't trust any of them. Unless they're people you know who get them from correct sources by people who work at the club. There's no point listening to anything that Fabrizio says or anyone else. It's just a load of rubbish.
Yeah, exactly. But look, we'll see what happens. I'm not really listening to anything right now. I'm kind of just going to wait until I hear proper big news worth listening to. Not that, almost got release clause, which means we're after him. Like, where? Where's that come from? Like, it's because release clause at City, immediate links. This is what I mean. If you're a fan on Twitter, right, you've got to know what to believe and what not to believe. Just honestly, the best thing you can do in this situation is you look at it, like, all right, fair enough, and carry on. Just wait till you hear a proper announcement from someone who's actually linked to the club, like Jack Gorn, who would actually get that probably spot on, or the club. No, respect to people like Martin who say that they have news. It doesn't mean it's right. It's news. You remember that things aren't guaranteed in football. If they were, it'd be great. But this is how it is. Like, you got to just pinch your salt. It's a bit of news, better than nothing. And you just hope that it works out in the long run. But honestly, next summer is the summer I'm looking at as a big one. This summer's more of a change up of a little thing here and there. But next summer's the big one for me. That's where it really matters. I think the Musiala and Wirtz, if we don't get either of them in to place De Bruyne, it's looking long for us.
Yeah.
Because I love Phil Foden, but he's not enough. You need someone else with him as well. Right to work. But we'll see what happens on that front. Cheers, guys, for obviously coming on for a good show. Been nice to sort of discuss, and vent out our frustrations about England and English football in general and Southgate and all that. I mean, look, if he isn't gone after this tournament, then it's
wash your hands.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm doing it anyway at this point, because the mentality's in the bin. If Carlton's being linked with a job, then I don't want to bloody know about it, because a big manager should be the priority, but it won't be because it's not part of the process or part of the background checks. It's like, at this point, if you're a fan that wants to win something, just don't bother at this point, because they don't care about us. They care about the wallets and the PR and all that kind of stuff, and the media representation. They don't care about us or what we want to win. Just focus on your own club and better teams that are worth your time. It's sad to say, but it's where we are now.
This, lads. Club over country.
Yep.
Look at that.
Always.
Yeah, exactly. The country doesn't deserve us at all, country. Doesn't deserve our support at all.
Not at all.
No. But for everyone for watching the show, sorry that Twitter didn't work today. I've got to work that out. It's a bit of a weird one. I don't know what's happened there, but I'll work it out for tomorrow's streaming and obviously future streams coming up. But thanks everyone obviously for coming on. 700 subscribers now over that, which is pretty good. Close towards 800 subscribers now. That's the next game. Try and keep it going. You know, it's another season ahead to look forward to. A lot of twists and turns, I imagine, obviously come to come, which will be fun to go with City and all that. It's never easy. Always a roller coaster with our club. Never straightforward, but it'll be fun to do and be on a journey together. Thank you to Jack, Harry, Aussie lads. Thanks so much for coming on Monday evening and having a chat. We'll obviously do more depending on what's out. We won't do it for the sake of it. No point. It's going to be a show about stuff you need to talk about. We'll talk about it. Let's not carry on because there's no point doing a show for the sake of it. Otherwise, you just sat there just talking about nothing. That's where I look anyway. But I imagine with City, there'll be a lot to talk about. There'll be a lot to talk about every week, I imagine, with season coming up and transfers coming up. But yeah, everyone in the chat, thanks for tuning in, AK section, all that. Obviously, Harry and Jack in the comments as well. And I think also people was in there as well. Could go all the way back. Yeah, I'll look at later on. I'll probably some later on. As you guys watch on YouTube, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care, lads.